رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي. This is chapter number 22, verse number 22. And I'll be comparing it to chapter number 32, verse number 20. Both are talking about people trying to escape hellfire, right? But they cannot escape hellfire. So what happens in chapter 22, Surah Hajj, verse 22, it says, every time they want to get out of it, hellfire, from anguish, there is anguish, they will be returned to it. Okay? There is this mention of what the state they will be in anguish, in pain, in suffering, right? But in Surah Sajda, the same words are repeated. In Arabic it says, كُلَّمَا أَرَادُوا أَن يَخْرُجُوا مِنْهَا مِنْ غَمٍّ, from anguish, أُعِيدُوا فِيهَا. Surah Sajda, almost the same words, but there is no mention of anguish. Surah Sajda, chapter 32, verse 20. كُلَّمَا أَرَادُوا أَن يَخْرُجُوا مِنْهَا أُعِيدُوا فِيهَا. Every time they wish to emerge from it, they will be returned to it without the mention of anguish. Why? Why skip the mention of anguish? Now look at the beauty of the context. There is no detail in this. It's detailing out in detail, telling us why the state they will be in, the way they will be, the state they will be in, the suffering and the pain and the torture and the anguish they will be in. That's what it's mentioning. There is detail. So if you go to the context, the verses before it, it mentions their suffering and their punishment in detail. Verse number 19, you see, those who disbelieved will have cut out for them garments of fire. Look at the detail of their punishment. Poured upon their heads will be scalding water, by which is melted that within their bellies and their skins. And for striking them are maces of iron every time they want to come out of hellfire from anguish. Look at the details of the punishment and then the detail of their state. In Surah Sajda, there is no detail of the punishment. As for those who defiantly disobeyed, their refuge is fire. No more detail. Every time they wish to emerge from it, they will return. SubhanAllah, where there was detail of the punishment, it gives the detail of their state, their pain and their suffering. When there is no detail, no suffering. SubhanAllah, how beautiful it is. SubhanAllah. And in addition to that, if that wasn't enough, I mean, that is enough for the beauty of the language and the eloquence of it. But let me also mention to you something else. Where it does mention the anguish and the pain and the suffering, it also mentions the bigger crime. It says that they are who? They are disbelievers. Those who disbelieved. Here in Surah Sajda, where there is no mention of the anguish and the pain, it says those who disobeyed. Disobedience, disbelief is part of, disbelief is a bigger thing, right? A Muslim, somebody who submits to God can also disobey, right? Then the second thing is, it mentions over here, it says, ذُوقُوا عَذَابَ. When it mentions anguish, it says, ذُوقُوا عَذَابَ الْحَرِيقِ. Taste the punishment. A direct command. Directly telling them, taste the punishment. In Surah Sajda, it says, it is said to them, while it is said to them, taste the punishment. Here, it's directly, without being said. And this is in brackets, it's not mentioned in the text. It's directly said, taste the punishment. SubhanAllah. And on top of that, where anguish is mentioned, the pain and the suffering, it says, taste the burning fire. The fire is described as burning. Here, the fire is, it's not described. Taste the punishment of the fire. That's it. The burning is not. SubhanAllah. How amazing the context is. Where there is more intensity, Allah mentions the anguish, their pain and the suffering. SubhanAllah. How beautiful is the context of the Qur'an. And this is not only helpful in, of course, concluding the fact that this is written by an intelligent being and it is divine, but it also helps those who memorize the Qur'an. When there's lots of similar verses where one word occurs and where one does not, those people who memorize the Arabic text, these things, and who understand this as well, these things help a lot, because the context tells you where the word is used and where the word is not used. So I think this is super amazing. I see these things and every time my faith goes, gradually it goes up and up every time I see these examples from the Quran. Before it was just a simple book for me that had no excitement, that the something that that I wake up every morning to because of the excitement of what the book contains. That it was a normal book for me, perhaps something that just tells me what to do, what not to do. But now it's a book that gives me the purpose and the reason to get up every morning. So may God give us complete conviction in the Quran as the word of God. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.